How's your journey today? Sucked. Oh, I see. Yes, great. Suck. That's different opinion. We are opinionated always, so that's great. Uh, okay. So welcome everyone on a Jack for Everyone event. This is inaugural event. For those who are longer with us, we organized this event before on the London Java community, but unfortunately, that's gone, and probably for good. But yeah, let's don't talk about it. Who am I? My name is Marcin. I'm one of the organizers of this events. Also behind the Jack for Everyone community. So yeah, I'm software developer living in London, originally Polish. Yeah, probably that's all you need to know. And there is also the team of people who helped me running this events. Wojtek, Roshini, Chris, Dmitry, Michael. So thank you for your effort and support. But as you see, there is a big blank site over here. So there is more place for more people. So if you want to be involved, let me know. Yeah, but let's go to the main thing today evening, which is we have 3 speakers today. First talk will be done by Diana and Leena. They will talk about workbooks, runbooks, yeah. And Sunday we'll talk about AI, how he uses it to help him with pull requests. I will talk about briefly, because we're quite late, what AGI is about. AGI is a Jack for Everyone. So this is a new community created by us like 2 months ago. Even though our background is mostly Java, but we don't want to limit ourselves to Java. So yeah, like you see today, there's nothing about Java with Runbooks or PRs. So even if you work with JavaScript, so you are still welcome. So it's run by community for community. Yeah, one of the reasons why we left LGC was basically there was some problems over there. So I hope this we build real community run by members, for members, and members will benefit from it the most. Right now we focus on events. We're just starting, so not surprised. But yeah, if you have any ideas you want to, I don't know, contribute to open source project, whatever. We have one Verissimo, which I don't see. He runs, for example, mock interviews. Any idea? If there is people who are interested, first we have to start with the idea, yes, and then we will see where that goes. Is meritocracy. I want this community to be built by people who want to do something, and you will mean more in the community the more you contribute. Yes, not about your past, about your, I don't know, legacy, how celebrity you are. It's just what you do for the community, and everyone is welcome, no matter the experience, tech stack, gender, race. Yeah, we want to be inclusive as much we can. So yeah, I see here even is great, kind of like different people, yes, which is great, and that's why I love communities. Yes. Where to find us? This one. Make a picture if you want. Website, we have website. On the website you can find the rest of these links except Meetup. We have Discord, where we discuss the kind of like the everyday things which we all care about. LinkedIn is more about the things we post about the community and try to engage with the community, kind of like find more people to attend, stuff like that. Should I leave this for a while or should I go further? Okay, because again, we are kind of like, if you want some links later, just come to me and I will supply it. Yes. So those meetups, again, they are run by community. So if you have anything to present about, I brag about it, say about it every session, but yeah, I have to repeat it because if there is no presenters, there will be no events. Yes, so yeah. If you like it, you want these events to be run repeatedly for the next years, we need speakers. Yes, so submit your proposal at Sessionize or speak to me again. As I say, community events, so the success is in your hands. Until recently, it was only two of us, Wojtek and me, who organized these events. So bus factor is quite high. If I don't know, I will be hit by bus tomorrow, probably this will die as well. So please step up. I'm willing to share the knowledge about how to run those communities. Just need to have people who are willing to help me. Sessions are recorded and streamed. So again, hello world. And if you don't want to be recorded, please don't go here. Yes. And also there are lanyards at the back, the red one. We will make pictures during the event. So if you don't want to be on camera, just put lanyard on your neck, and we will, maybe we put you on the picture, but we won't post it on the social media or whatever like that, because it's difficult to do it live. Yes. And again, as I say, call for speakers, especially if you want to start your career. These events are organized. Sorry, there is a sun. These events, the idea when I started these events was to people. I'm aspiring speaker as well, yes, and these events are for you to bootstrap your career, to give you the opportunity to talk. So if you are interested or you think about it, just give it a go. Yeah, anyone from us has something interesting to say. Just you have to go there and make the first step. And finally, our partners. So right now we are in Rightmove office. Thank you very much. Chris is our host today. So thank you very much for that, because without companies like that, we won't be able to have these events. And we also Couchbase, where there will be next event, which is already posted. I forgot to add it to the slides. So find us, I don't know, on social media, Eventbrite, where you can find is 25th, I think, is the next event, which is like 2 weeks from now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today. So we will see you the next event as well. And finally, is over here. This is Wojtek's channel, where this event is streamed and then posted. So if you want to kind of like, you learn something and you want to kind of go back to it, you can just go to Wojtek's channel and yeah, learn about it more. So that's me. I think I give Chris a few minutes, like talking about where is the exit. Yeah.
Do you want to give me the microphone?
Yeah. So Chris will, is our host, and we say a few words about Rightmove and where to find the exits, toilets.
If I can fit this thing on. Yeah. Hey, yeah. So, yeah, I'm Chris, and I'm really pleased that AJE has made the right move to come here for the first inaugural event. And I know how this is supposed to go. I'm supposed to come on and I'm supposed to talk about how Rightmove is hiring, and I should really have slides behind here talking about all the technology we've got and saying, oh, go and look at our recruitment pages and tech blog and all the rest of it. But we wanted to do stuff different. So no slides. And as Martin just said, you'll find the toilets hidden around the corner between a couple of booths there. We are very inclusive here. You'll find female, male, disabled and unisex toilets, whatever you wish. And yeah, in the unlikely event of a fire alarm, the sorry, the main fire exit is down there past the lift you came up in, or out that way. And I think we will meet up at Soho Square. Finally, we have a hard cut-off. So at 8:45, it would be really great if everyone can head out down to the pub and we can continue networking there. Yeah, and if you need toilets, there are toilets down in reception. So thank you.
So yes,
And I think on the first,
Chris will be moderating the. So at the end, I hope we have time. Yes, you have to step on the stage, I guess. Now it's your time.
someone's going to have to take the mic.
I think, Wojtek, do you have second mic as well?
We can stand very close together. That helps.
So Chris will
Yeah.
moderate
We can share.
the questions at the end and kind of like try to. That's why he probably said about the timekeeping, because I'm not the greatest person with timekeeping. So I hope.
Okay, so my
Chris
son
will
make a counter for timekeeping.
Yeah, so we will have also for speakers, because often they overrun with time. Like it's your time to wrap up. So yeah, not talking anymore. Let's go to the meat. Yeah.
Cool.
Leena, Diana, the stage is yours.
Great, thank you very much. I just want to say a big thank you to AGE and AJE even, and Rightmove for having us both. We're both really looking forward to telling you more than you ever wanted to know about Runbooks. So I'm going to start with this question. Does anyone recognize this person? I think, just kind of look really carefully. Usually it's something around the eyes. It's a bit of a giveaway. If any of you have ever been on call and maybe have been woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to deal with a high priority incident, maybe in an area that you're not really that comfortable with, maybe you don't just recognize that person. Maybe you are that person. So welcome. I am Leena Moonaram. I'm a senior platform engineer at Chainalysis, who are the data platform for the blockchain.
And I am Diana Nanuti. I am a senior software engineer at Chainalysis.
And as I said, today we're going to tell you about how to take your Runbooks to the next level. So we're going to go through, tell you a little bit about what is a Runbook, just so that we're all on the same page. We're going to go through, explain to you, I suppose, why we think Runbooks matter. What's a bad Runbook? What's a good Runbook? Diana's going to take you through her self-defined Runbook maturity model. And I'm going to finish up with a few ways of how you can very quickly just elevate your Runbooks and just take them to the next level. And then we'll give you a couple of takeaways, just to keep you warm on your great journey home. So, Diana, what is a Runbook?
Thank you, Leena. Well, a Runbook is a guide with step-by-step instructions that outlines how to complete a process or a task. But you can also think of it as a living document, because it needs to get updated with your software and your infrastructure changes, or even your processes changes. And we often think about it just in the context of on-call or in the context of high-pressure incidents, but it's useful for other processes as well. So we can think of Runbooks for an onboarding process or any kind of repetitive task that you will need to do periodically. It's useful to have a Runbook for. Now that we are all aligned with what a Runbook is, I'm gonna hand it back to Leena to see why do they matter.
Okay. Oh, I went too quickly. So why do Runbooks matter? Okay. So for me, I think they matter at a number of key points. So one of them being in the middle of the night. And the other one is during, may as well, seeing as I've spoiled it, any other time. So in the middle of the night, I think we could probably, if you've ever been on call and you've had to deal with these incidents, you probably know the value of having a clear, repeatable, tested set of steps to follow. You've woken up, you're still trying to kind of, clean the sleep out of your eyes and actually just understand why things are buzzing and ringing and what's making all the noise. So if you've got that step-by-step recipe of what to do in a specific situation, of course.
Presenters.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's us, basically.
We good?
Okay, so maybe we have to present like that.
Oh, okay.
Can you move to the next one?
I could try. It's not going to be as flashy.
Okay, give me a second to play.
Perhaps you can expand it with this button.
Yeah.
But it might be something with StreamYard.
I can carry on talking while you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think. Oh,
Okay,
maybe not.
Because it don't. Okay, it creates the new. Okay.
It's all right. We can speak like this. It's fine.
What about now? Because that application, it creates the new window.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I think I know it.
You know what? Does anyone happen to have one handy?
Yeah.
We could just go with this. This is fine.
Yes, it's fine.
It's fine
Yeah.
like that, because I think this
Yeah.
the Canva, it creates the new window which is not captured by StreamYard.
Does that create it? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
presenting.
that's
That's no big deal. That's okay. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So in the middle of the night, what the Runbook does is it gives you confidence, and if you've got this step-by-step set of instructions that's already tested, you're minimizing your downtime, you're resolving your issues much more efficiently, and also with less errors, particularly if you're not particularly awake and there's too many other things ringing and making noise. The other thing about Runbooks is that they're obviously not just for when there's an incident. They're great, like just during your day-to-day or any day-to-day interaction. So if you've got a new member of the team that's joining and they're trying to ramp up, if you've got that information there that's clear and that's understandable on how to deal with specific situations or to complete a certain task, it makes that onboarding so much easier. It helps you scale your team with less problems and less dependencies. You haven't got that bus factor that we just heard about, where you've got a dependency on one particular engineer that has specific domain knowledge in an area that you always have to bug because you don't know how to do something, or you don't know what permissions you need to complete a certain task. So Runbooks are also great at asynchronous knowledge transfer. Let me try and move on to the next one.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But as Sunday's going to tell us later, we have AI. Why do we need Runbooks? Right? So AI can tell us what to do. There's an instant I can just kind of ask maybe what to do. But I mean, who here has ever asked a kind of model something and got an answer that isn't maybe quite right, or isn't quite what you need, is maybe actually plain wrong, right? And in those kind of perhaps high visibility issues, do you want to take that risk? So what you get with a Runbook is that tried and tested and verified and validated set of steps. Now, by all means, you can use AI to help improve your Runbooks, or perhaps even sometimes create your Runbooks, as you'll see that we did. But I don't think we're there completely just yet. So what makes a bad runbook?
Well, I'm going to return the question to Leena. So what do you think is the worst runbook?
Yes. Okay. So for me, I think the worst runbook is actually no runbook, right? Is not having one. I'm the sort of engineer that if I'm doing something new, the last thing I want to do is actually ask someone. I'd much rather be able to try and work it out for myself, or at least have somewhere to start. So for me, it would be not having a runbook at all.
I completely agree. But even when we have a runbook, there might be some things that could go better. So if we think of a runbook that has content quality issues, so that has vague instructions like restart the server if it stops responding. It doesn't tell you how to identify which server is not responding, what that actually means. And it doesn't tell you also what's the command that you need to run to actually restart it. Or even so, we could have instructions, but we don't have enough background context. So, for example, if you think of the onboarding example, we can have like assign new permissions for a person that's joining your company, but you don't know exactly in which systems you need to provide those permissions. You don't know exactly what's the permission set for that particular role and that particular team. And once you sort out the content quality issues, then you go to the maintenance and upkeep issues. So we often have runbooks that just get stale, outdated. We simply fail to maintain them, and they get into that state due to a lack of ownership. So this is more of a call to action here. If you don't have a clear process of how to maintain and to update your runbooks, then perhaps it's room for you to actually create that process. It's room for you to actually influence your team and define that for your team, your organization, your company. And not only that, but after you define this process, you will have multiple versions of a runbook that can be just floating around. And you'll need to know at that 3 a.m. Incident which runbook you need to use. You need to know which is the most accurate one. You need to know if one update created perhaps a command that is not working as expected, and you need to know what's the reliable version. So you should have some form of version control for your runbooks. And once you sort these out as well, you also can be more careful about usability and accessibility. And here I'm thinking of, we are not all English speakers. So at 3 a.m., perhaps I won't be able to process some more fancy terms. And you need to write those runbooks in a very simple manner that they can be followed simply, stupid, naively. Just go through the runbook, stick to the instructions, and just follow those steps to resolve your issue. And not only that, but you don't want a long unformatted narrative. You don't want a long unformatted doc that you cannot point in what are your actual instructions that you need to run. So now that we know what makes a bad runbook, let's see how we can make it better. And yeah, I'm proposing this sort of runbooks maturity path, where I'm proposing to start with wiki pages. This is something that probably you already have seen or have. It's usually narrative guidance in docs, in Confluence, maybe even a .md file. This is human readable and also human executable. It will just you will just manually go and naively execute those steps. Then you can take this one step further and have some schema-based runbooks. We will see a bit later in a small demo part that we have that you would like to define these, perhaps, let's say, in a YAML or JSON file, because this isn't just like human readable and executable, but you can also have scripts and make it machine readable so that you can have some automation in place to execute those runbooks. And after you have some automation in place, that gives you room to have tests in place for those runbooks. You can have CI workflows that will validate your runbooks and that will pinpoint those issues that I mentioned earlier that may occur when you are updating those runbooks. And that kind of makes room to have some form of partial automation. Then, now that we have AI, an AI progress, we can think of getting a human in the loop execution and AI assistance, basically to have some form of like chat where you have a model that already has all the background context that it needs for your project and your infrastructure, and you can ask about what you can do to solve a particular incident. And not only that, it should summarize, for example, what the actual issue is, and also to provide you the mitigation steps. And of course, the end goal would be to lean towards self-healing incidents, where the system is able to automatically apply some scripts, to automatically run some runbooks to actually resolve the issue in the middle of the night. Of course, this isn't in the sense of replacing human need. It's just to make our lives easier, to be kind to our 3 a.m. selves and not need to do that manually. And as I said, we have a small demo part. So we have this project. I'm sorry, Marcin, I couldn't stay away completely from Java. We have a small Java project. It's it's with Java and Spring. It has a Postgres database with some with some endpoints to just create users, lock users, so on and so forth. I have emphasized some of these runbooks here. I didn't get to an actual example for the self-healing one because that needs more context for to mimic like a production-like thing, and also for the actual, let's say, wiki. This is like a very rough example. You can see that it misses a lot of stuff. So this normally for a production ready system should have like the name of the application, should have some identifiable tags, should have the owning team, should have an escalation path. So just think of this as a very rough example to emphasize what we wanted. And I'm not gonna do a live demo just to save us some time, and also because I don't have the project long here. So let's start with this. Let me see if it's Marcin, I might need your help a bit. Thank you. Or wait, it's working. I think. Yes.
It's Linux, so
Yeah. I got too used to Mac OS. Okay. So what we have here, I'll do a small setup before. So we can see here that the application is up and running, and also the database is up and running. I'm gonna simulate that the database is down. I forgot to mention that this is running 2 separate Docker containers, one for the application and one for the Postgres database. I'm turning off the Postgres database. I'm verifying now on the health check endpoint that the database is down. And now that I simulated the database failure, I am following the steps in the runbook. So I will just go naively, run the Docker PS as said. I'm seeing that only the app process is running. Then I'm checking the logs. In the database logs, I can see that the database system is shut down. I don't see anything related to credentials, so I'm just skipping steps 3 and 4. And then I will jump to step 5, where I will just naively, as I said, copy paste the command. The database is now again up, and I'm running the validation steps to confirm that this is again up and running. So this is sort of the starting point that you can have for a runbook. And then you can move forward to the schema-based runbook that I previously mentioned. Oh, I think I turned off VLC. Okay, Marcin, now I really need your help. Sorry. I turned off VLC accidentally.
Which one you need? No?
The schema base, but it doesn't start with double click. You need to turn VLC and to drag and drop it. sorry, I haven't used Linux since I was in uni, and that was more than 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm that old. That old. Okay, cool. So now the second example that's already started is with the schema-based runbook. Of course, we can follow this. It's human readable as well, but it's not as friendly with humans. We can follow this, but it's better to actually write that script that I mentioned. So what I will do here is to simulate a logged user. Firstly, I will check that there is no logged user, and now I'm doing that setup. I'm also checking the user list. There is no user there, and then I'm creating a user. Now we have Alice with her user ID 1. We can see that Alice is active, and now we are logging the user. We are checking again to see that the list of users shows Alice logged, and we are checking with the curl in the runbook that this is the username that got logged. And now, instead of just following this runbook, we will be running a script that is able to simply unlock Alice. Of course, this is a very trivial example, but just imagine that you would have like multiple instructions to actually run here. The script takes in the username. Of course, this could just like run the runbook itself, but perhaps you don't want to unlock all the users. Maybe some of them were locked intentionally. We can see now that the users are the user is active. Oh, I closed it again. I need to. Where was it? I keep closing it. Sorry. I don't want to let you rest. I don't know.
So I teach you something.
Oh, I didn't look. Okay.
Here.
Okay, VLC or
V.
yeah, okay, got it. Thank you. Cool. Now we move forward to the CI validated one. I can actually show it here. So what I had is a very simple validation in place. So I have a very simple workflow that I ran a couple of times. It's just doing linting on the runbook, and then the simulation part is simply doing a sort of dry run where I just echoed the commands. But normally, if you have the application deployed somewhere, perhaps you have development environments or test environments, you can write some scripts to automate that failure setup, and then you can have your runbooks actually running properly against a real world, let's say, environment. And yeah, and then this is less of a demo, let's say, because I didn't add any credit, but this is sort of mimicking what the AI assistant thing would do. This is calling OpenAI behind the scenes, but I didn't add any credit to it. So we'll just, because it wouldn't have any context on the application and so on and so forth. So this is just like providing the high level idea of how the AI assisted runbooks would look like. And yeah, you can see the error that I exceeded the quota because yeah, I didn't add any credit or anything to it. Okay, now let's move back to this. Cool. So now that we've seen the runbooks maturity path, what are the important parts about this is to remember to make your runbooks discoverable, to add labels, to add tags, to have the symptoms that your application or system may have, to have the errors perhaps, to have the URLs to your runbooks in your alert that you get when you are on call. Then, of course, to lean into automation and to try to make them as testable as possible. To ensure they are safe. So while we go towards automation, we need to ensure that we have a predefined set of allow listed actions, allow listed users, and to ask for a two-person review or a human review in the case of AI-assisted things that the action that we are about to run, especially in a production environment, is safe to run. Of course, we need to see, to quantify somehow these improvements. So we need to define metrics to measure this. You can start simply with the mean time to acknowledge and mean time to resolve and work from there. See that, monitor if the improvements that you've done on your runbook are actually leading to a quicker time to a resolution. Then, of course, we need to have them in a maintainable state. So perhaps you will just store them in a VCS or a version control system, or whichever solution works for you. And you should also have some form of owners for that, being it either a person or a team, but you should have someone that is at least checking that your runbooks don't get all broken after a change, and to have them periodically evaluated and reviewed. We often do that only when we have postmortems, but we should do that at least, I don't know, on a monthly basis to make sure that we don't get paged at 3 a.m. and we have a runbook that's not useful at all. Now that I completed the demo with some hiccups, I will pass it back to Leena to learn how to elevate them further.
Oh. Might actually need my cursor, can't we? See where we are. Right.
Next.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So, right. So I did promise at the beginning that you would learn or hear more about runbooks than you ever wanted to know. Right. So I think we have, right? You've seen now the demos of the runbooks, from literally just a set of steps to something that could be quite sophisticated with some kind of AI models involved. So what you can do, though, I mean, I'm hoping that what we're showing is not necessarily what a runbook is, because I imagine you all know, but hopefully what we're trying to kind of demonstrate is really how important they are and how important they can be. We all have runbooks of some nature kicking around, but it really helps to make them I suppose conventional and accessible and be what you expect them to be. And so really our ask for you really is can you elevate your runbooks? And there's some really easy steps that you can take that just take your runbooks from 0 to, even if it's just a step up, would be I think for your engineer at 3 o'clock in the morning or even at 3 o'clock in the afternoon would be a great boon. So to elevate your runbooks, you can actually just do like the very basic kind of 80% of it is just making sure that your runbooks have an owner. Things that get owned, get looked after, get maintained. Make sure that they are, even within your team, conventional if you can. Even better if you can get them conventional across your engineering org, so that when you pick up a runbook, you know that it will always have a section with what prerequisites you need. You know that there will be a set of steps that you need. You know that there will potentially be a link to any dashboard that you need to help triage your incident or help support your task. Also, obviously, really basic, really obvious suggestions, keep them relevant. It's much better, I think, to have much more focused atomic runbooks that deal with a specific task, rather than a runbook that tries to do everything and nobody wants to read it or maintain it. The AI word again is the next one. AI can help. I wouldn't personally hand over everything to AI, is a very generic term, but we've actually used it to great effect at chain analysis, particularly actually with situations where we don't have a runbook. So there's an incident that's occurred, it's been resolved, and the artifacts from that incident is a really rich incident channel with kind of descriptions of what was done, what was investigated, where we looked, and we pointed one of our internal AI tools at that channel and gave it a very kind of clear set of instructions, but actually asked it to create a runbook from the conversations around the incident. And that's actually been very helpful. It's been used across kind of our engineering org. Could also obviously be used for on-demand triage, as one of Diana's demo showed. Thirdly, automate where you can. You know, we don't like doing boring, tedious stuff. And boring, tedious stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning tends to cause errors. So if there are things that you can do to automate it, I would do it. And then another way, I think I've got no runbook there. I know I said that no runbook was my idea of the worst kind of runbook, but ironically, I think it's also where we would like to go towards. I think the end goal would be a situation where we don't need a runbook, where systems and applications are self-healing, self-monitoring. I don't think we're there yet, unfortunately. So we are towards the end, well, almost towards the end of our presentation, and the few takeaways that Diana and I, normally we do it a little bit more flashy, but the takeaways that Diana and I would like you to take away with you today would be, for me, is one that runbooks actually do matter. I think we've both been burnt, which is why we're both standing up here talking about runbooks. And so if I had, I know I have said I already had an ask, if I had another ask of you today, if you find just all tomorrow, go into work and pick a runbook and audit it. If there is a runbook that you wouldn't trust at 3 o'clock in the morning, fix it. You know, it might take you half an hour just to take a look through and review it. Diana?
Oh. I wasn't expecting to do the switch. Yeah, I guess conventions matter. So if you can define a standard, if you can define a template, if you can define some form of grouping for your runbooks, for your project, please do that so that anyone not necessarily from your team is able to find a runbook that they might need, and perhaps they won't page you if they find it and can use it.
We're going to do this a little bit. So my other ask of you is to automate. So again, going back, if there is part of a runbook that is boring and is complex, it'll be error prone. So automate it. And generally what you find is across, particularly in a specific, in the same domain, there'll be runbooks, you'll have the same common steps. And so if you can automate part of that and make that runbook, one, much more easy to test and to update, automate it. Last one.
Yeah, last but not least, leverage AI, use it to make your life easier, use it to make your work easier, use it to do the boring tasks like creating runbooks and perhaps updating them, test them. For example, the demo I created it just leveraging AI tooling like ChatGPT and Google Studio, so you can do that. Yeah, I guess this was us. Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, so we leave you with one last thing. One, thank you very much for listening to our talk about runbooks. Thank you. And we'd like to just leave you with, hopefully, if you elevate your runbooks even a tiny little bit, you could go from being this engineer here to, I don't know, except I can't see because I've got my glasses off, which ruins the effect. So you go from being this engineer here to this engineer here. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's good because the presentation was short, so we are on time now. Thank you. Yeah, there is plenty of time for questions. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So can you give us an example of a real runbook that you're using at work that you couldn't live without, like a real, real life example?
Thank you. So I'm part of the platform team. We have a managed Kubernetes service where we, so it's a relatively new project for us. And we allow our engineers in the org to self-serve tenants and namespaces in a Kubernetes cluster. So what we have is it's partly automated, but it does get to a part where it raises a number of PRs that platform need to get involved and take a number of steps. That process is at the moment still a little bit complex. And unless you're doing it fairly regularly, you're not going to be able to just turn up and do it and run it and make sure that you've got all the secrets in and everything's all configured correctly and all the checks are done. So that's something that's actually a great runbook. And as our platform team is growing and expanding, or as we're getting new people on, what it does is it enables the new engineers, actually over the old engineers, because I haven't done it for a little while. So I had to kind of dig out the runbook this morning to try and understand or remember what I needed to do. And obviously the process has changed since I last did it. So it's really good to have those sets of updatable steps or updated steps. So that was really good. But also any of the new engineers can then just look up this runbook and take whatever steps they need to do and do the tasks that are required and get to the end without having to pull in another, perhaps more established engineer.
So what type of runbook? You mentioned a few.
Yeah, we did.
What type is that?
Yeah, it's not fully automated because, okay, so it's partly automated. So I would say it's a bit of a hybrid. So at the moment, it's a list of tasks or a list of make sure you've done this or done this and then done A, B, C, and D. But some of them are make sure that you've run this, and that part is an automated script. And part of the reason why it's not fully automated is that we are kind of like chipping away at it. We're taking the tasks that are in the runbook and adding it to the already automated part that any engineer can self-serve. Does that answer your question? You can have it.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that in a previous experience, I've seen like full end-to-end automation. So for example, not to the point of self-healing, but like to the point of when you were, sorry.
No,
Okay.
I explained.
All right. When you were checking in the ticket, you had like all the information there added, like all the dashboard or screenshots of all the dashboards that were showing out of thresholds metrics. You had short descriptions where it pointed you to the exact failure, and that really helped in lowering the time to resolve the incident. Yeah.
Some question.
So we do, well, mostly self-healing's automated, but for some situations, when the blockchain goes wrong or you're out of balance or something, you don't know exactly whether it is automatable. So we do have runbooks, but we've got tests for them. But my challenge I found is the runbook is a test, but less technical users, or maybe let's say more junior developers, would struggle. Have you got any advice on how to translate those in a more automated fashion from the kind of advanced test one where you have to destroy the system and then fix it in a test to, kind of just a simple, because you said that the kind of almost most basic is the wiki page, but for the more junior developer, the wiki page would actually be better in that situation because it's much easier to understand. Whereas the test is great because it's, if you can't get through CI without, you can't fix the bug without kind of fixing the test. So the runbook's always accurate. Have you got a way of balancing those two, basically? Have you thought of that in the past? Because I've been struggling with that for a while.
I mean, thank you. Intuitively sounds like there's some form of like knowledge sharing that should happen first of all, and also perhaps you can find like middle ground. So like the fallback for the automation should be some form of like maybe Jupyter notebook where they have some descriptions and then they could potentially run those steps from the notebook with just one click. All right. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do we have another question?
Okay.
Hi, thank you for the speech. So I recently used AI to generate a README file, and it worked very well. I was just wondering, have you ever created a runbook from scratch using AI by giving it your whole service? And what sort of tips you have really trying to get AI to help you with the runbook?
Yeah. I don't think I've been successful completely relying on AI to generate a runbook or a README. I think every single time, and it could well be because my prompts weren't detailed enough or sufficiently detailed. Yeah, that's what I said. It weren't detailed enough, didn't give it enough information. And so a lot of the time I find with AI, personally for me anyway, it's an iterative process. So I ask it to do something and then I will try and adjust the prompt based on what I get. I don't know if I have any specific advice other than I would say I lean into it for the boring dross bits and collecting of information, and then I personally refine it to make sure that it's valid and that I understand it and that any other engineer would be able to pick it up. So that's what I would say, that I still feel like there is a human in the loop that's needed. Did you want to add any more to that?
So based on the experience that I had with this small demo, what I did was to use essentially an AI tool in my IDE that's understanding the full project, context of the project, and then I use that AI to essentially generate me the prompt that has the description of the project, and I just picked like the database down or issue by myself, feed it into the prompt, and asked to generate me a comprehensive prompt that I put in another AI to generate the Runbook. So perhaps that's something like use AI to generate the prompt and then try that prompt in a different AI to generate the actual content that you need.
So Dave's nodding his head, so I feel like we did something right there. Did you
Yeah,
have a question?
I just want to add one thing, that when we talk about AI is quite generic, and Runbook by definition is specialized to the place or the organization because it has some very specialized information. So AI can help when different Runbook information that has already been produced, but producing Runbook is more of a organization specific task which cannot be relied fully upon AI. So I would feel that.
Implement if you have tools that actually have access to that. For example, internally we have tools that have access to that context.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you have you can put your entire repo on the into AI as well. But then again, it is quite like the steps that are there are very specific, and they can't be generically applied for the same Kubernetes, let's say, cluster. Between organizations, it'll vary, so things like that. So that's what I mean.
I agree. It's going back to that human in the loop or the human kind of reviewer at the end. But yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. So we have got pizzas already delivered behind there.
But before we go in, so I forgot to tell that whatever, it's not important. It's more to the audience over here because no one will collect the business cards online. Yes, so I left business cards over there. So I would ask each of you to take few, and when you are next time in the office, just drop it into canteen. So we try.
everyone. We have the expert here. We are. Thank you again for attending, and we now have our second and final guest from Rightmove. So it's Sunday, and we need to click this on. Ah. That's oh. I keep pressing the button to the side. I don't know if I'm switching it in. Oh, thank you. I'm ready to go? Yep. Yeah. Okay, right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sunday, and I work for Rightmove, and I'm happy to be here with you this evening. This is my first time of presenting at AJE, and not the first time of presenting, but for this community, this is my first time of presenting here. I have experience with Java, Spring Boot, and also with modern software development practices. In my day-to-day job, I'm very passionate about using AI code assistants, especially Copilot and things like that. And I'm one of those that is evangelizing and promoting it within the company. So before I start talking about what I'm here to present this evening, by the way, the topic is how we can use AI to modernize one of the things that we do in a day-to-day job. So I'm going to ask 3 questions. Number 1 is this: how many of us here do code review in our day-to-day job? Can I show a raise of hand? Good. A good number of us here do. How many of us in this audience do code review from the ID that we use rather than on the code repository, GitLab or okay, we have 2, 3, 4. Good. How many of us here use IntelliJ IDEA? Good number, of course. Very good. So what I'm hoping to achieve this evening is that I will show you how you can use your IDE and AI to do code review for any code that you want to do. I'm hoping that you take something away that will help you to do code review when you go back to your day-to-day job. So number 1, let's start with the problem statement. Most of the time, or in some instances, when we get a PR or an MR, we often don't know all the changes that are, we often don't have the complete context of what the change is all about. Sometimes we are called upon to do code review for someone from another team. Sometimes we are called upon to do code review for which we have not seen the ticket. If you run microservices and you have multi-team, some people from other teams, they make changes in your code base and send you the code review, and you won't have enough context of what the changes is all about. So that's number 1 problem. Number 2, on many occasions, people will wait on us to be able to complete the code review, meaning that the turnaround time sometimes is not what we want. It can take some time, a considerable amount of time to complete a code review. So in that case now, the problem now is response time for human code review can be slow. And another problem that is also very common is that as humans, when we take an MR and we are going through it with our own naked eye, it is very common to miss edge cases or hard or difficult to find bugs, especially if you don't run the code before you do the code review. So these are three key problems that are common with code review that AI can help us to be able to solve. So I'm just going to go straight into the benefit of using AI to do code review. Number one, AI can take a look at the set of changes in an MR and then give you a summary of the changes that are in the MR, meaning that you can have a summarized context of the change that is in the MR. And sometimes when I just look at those changes that are in the MR, I'll then go and look at the ticket and then compare what is in the ticket with what is in the summary of the MR. And sometimes that will be the end of the MR. If the summary of the changes in the MR does not conform with what the ticket is saying. But the benefit of it here is that when you look at the summarized context of what is in the change, it gives an idea of what is in the change set even before you start looking at it. If you don't have something like that, you need to go from the beginning of all the code changes from the beginning to the end before you can have an idea of the changes that are in the MR. A second benefit is that AI can help you to catch hidden edge cases that your human eye may not be able to see. No checks, boundary conditions, security risk, performance improvement, organizational policy or team-specific policy. Some of us works in organizations where engineering handbook about how we should write code is like maybe 1,000 pages. And it could be organizations that have multiple teams. Each teams have their own team-specific policy as well too. As human, when you are looking through an MR, you might not be able to remember everything in your organizational policy. You might not be able to remember everything in your team policy. AI can bring all this context together and help you to see where an MR does not meet your organizational policy and where it does not meet your team specific policy. We'll talk about a few of those. And then another one is speed and consistency of doing code review. If you work in a team, usually everybody in the team will not have the same skill set. Everybody in the team will not have the same level of experience. Everybody in the team will not have the same level of awareness of what is in a particular code base. Meaning that if everybody in the team is reviewing an MR for a particular repo, everybody is going to provide different review for an MR. With AI can help with doing a review of an MR in a consistent way, so that all of us can be empowered to do code review in a consistent way. And then the speed of doing it too will also be improved. Now I want to talk about a case study. And the case study I'm going to talk about is about GitHub Copilot. And I have another question. How many of us here use GitHub Copilot within our IDE? Good, a good number of us. GitHub Copilot is a code assistant. You can use it to generate code. You can use it to ask questions. You can use it to do multiple edits. And at the same time too, with the agent mode, you can use it to carry out on an autonomous task on your code base. One application of GitHub Copilot, and most of the LLM in particular, is using it to do code review. And these are some of the ways, some of the things that it has that enables that code review to be able to take place.
GitHub Copilot has something that is called instruction files. And it also has something that is called repeatable prompt files. Instruction files are set of instructions that you give to GitHub Copilot to help it to have a context of what you want to do. So that when it is carrying out its tasks, it will do it according to what you want and the way in which you want it. And some of them can be organization-wide, and some of them can be team or a repo specific. Most of us here will have, in wherever we work, we have things like development standards, engineering handbook, engineering manual that contains so many things about what we want, about what we do. So those company-wide standards, GitHub Copilot has a way of looking at an instruction files that are organization-wide, meaning that some standards is expected across all the organizations. And then for each specific repo, some standards may differ. We'll see some of those. We'll see some of those examples. If you run microservice, for example, and you are in a polyglot environment where you have Java, you have Kotlin, you have front end, you have React, you have Vue, where you might have one organizational standard across all repos, each of those repos could have their own each individual set of instructions. Those are repo specific instructions. So GitHub Copilot has a way of differentiating such one. And GitHub Copilot also has what is called reusable prompt file. We'll get to some of this specific. If you are using ChatGPT, for example, you type in you type your prompt and you get your response back. GitHub Copilot has a way of saving those prompts, especially the prompts that you use on a repeatable basis. It will save it, keep it somewhere, and so next time you want to use it, you just use it straight away without typing typing the prompt. So reusable prompt files are standardized prompts to consistently detect customer security, performance, and policy issues in your code base. All right. At this point, I'm going to move to a demo walkthrough. Enough talking. And what I'm going to do with GitHub Copilot here is not only specific to GitHub Copilot. You can adapt other AI coding assistance tools to do the same thing. Windsurf or Cursor, all those things can be adapted to do code review. So they all have similar offering. But I'm going to provide specific example of how these tools can fit into a code review workflow. This is what I have done. I have gone to GitHub and I have cloned a repo, and that repo is called Java Design Patterns. How many of us here do Java? Oh, good. A few number of us. Nice. Yeah. So Java Design Pattern is just a repo that contains that contains a description of all the patterns that we have in Java. So someone have gone there and created an MR and added a new design pattern. That new design pattern is called polling where is it's called polling publisher. That's the MR. So I've cloned this repo, and so that's the branch issue 2673. As you can see here, that's the branch. This I'm not on master. So what I would do is, if I'm doing code review and I have an ML like this, I don't do the code review on the Git repo, either on GitHub or GitLab. I don't do it there. I normally check it out on my IDE. I normally do from there. So what I normally do is this git diff, give me the set of changes with master, and put it in change set dot d. They will produce a file for me, and that file is here. That's the set of all the changes that are in this ML. Now, before I start doing code review, let me now use the opportunity to explain some of the things that are available in, or some of the instructions. Let me start from there. I mentioned earlier that we have organizational wide instruction files, and we have repo specific instruction files. Let me start with the organizational wide instruction files. This is IntelliJ, settings. You go to tools. If you add your, I have the GitHub Copilot plugin. Sorry, I didn't talk about that. Copilot is subscription based. You need to be subscribed, and you need a plugin, and you need to add a plugin to your ID, and you then have this. You see, custom instructions. It has Copilot instructions. There's a workspace one, and there's a global one. The global one is where you put things like your organizational policy. It can be things that are in your engineering handbook, manual, development standard, markdown files. You can put them all together and put them in a markdown file. The instruction file usually a markdown file. So you just open this one. That's the global one, and this is, I just put some example global instruction files here. So this file defines company-wide coding and review guidelines for GitHub Copilot. General guideline. Always follow Java 17 language features unless explicitly restricted. And the last one, always provide Java doc comment for public classes, method, and API. Things that you care about, things that you want your code to be specific about, you just put all of them in your instruction file. Spring Boot guidelines. You use Spring Boot 3.x conventions. Always use our configuration properties, default to SLF for J, security best practices, and for HTTP only. All the things that you care about. If you're on GKE, always create Docker file using known root users. Review workflow for Copilot. The things that you care about, all those things that is in your organization care about, just put them in the global GitHub Copilot instruction file. Now I'm going to go back and go to the repo specific one, which is IntelliJ call it workspace. This is the workspace one, and the workspace one is usually the location is within the repo itself in a folder called .github Copilot instructions. It is this one here. So this one is Copilot instruction file team policy. Not necessarily only team policy, it could be repo policy, because your team may have multiple repo, and you could have different policy for each of those repo. Say code style. Always use tab for indentation. And then for developers, people fight about whether you use tabs or whether you use spaces. If your team agree and say we want to use tab, put it there. Line length, 120 characters minimum. Place braces on the same line. Use meaningful variable method name, blah, blah, blah. All the things that you care about that are specific to the team and that are not necessarily in the engineering handbook. You put them in the repo, specific one. Now we are done with organizational-wide instruction files, and we are done with the repo specific file. Let's now move into the act of doing code review itself. You can create a repeatable code review prompt file. Those ones are usually in a folder inside .github called code review. I just call this one code-review.prompt. So the repeatable prompt file has .prompt.md. I'll open it like this. At the top, it's a declarative. I'm just telling GitHub Copilot what this is all about. In the mode that this instruction is useful only in the agent mode. Copilot has 3 modes: the ask mode, the edit mode, and also the agent mode. I'll demonstrate those shortly. Then the tools that you will use. If you are using an agent mode, the tools that you will use. Codebase, which is the entire of the code. You can do git diff. You can use run shell command. I can also use run git command as well. So, and just give it a description. And here's the bit about the art of doing code review itself. So at the top, it just says, okay, sorry, let me make it easy to read here. It says that the git diff in this feature branch against the master branch it was branched from has been extracted into change set.d, which I've done. Please code review the code changes and provide feedback on the following areas. So number 1, summary of changes. That's it. You are asking Copilot to please give you a summary of all the changes. That is the context of all the changes that are in the ML. Provide a brief summary of the changes made in the ML, mentioning significant architectural or design changes. Sometimes you have a code base, people are making changes outside the team. You say, please don't change the architecture. Just make sure you follow exactly what is there. You can instruct Copilot to let you know when a change in the architecture is being made. Code quality and readability, maintainability. Review the changes for readability and clarity. Identify any functions that are overly complex or lengthy. Testing and validation test. Ensure that the test cover edge cases and error handling. Use of best practices, performance and efficiency consideration, security vulnerabilities and privacy concerns. Identify any potential security vulnerabilities in the code. Suggest improvement to enhance security and privacy. Suggestions for improvement. These are just the things that I put here. You can think about the things that you care about when you are doing code review, either within your team or whatever, and just put all of them here. And at the end, please provide your feedback in a structured format with sections for each of the above points. That is setting up Copilot to be able to help you to do code review. Now let's go. I have the change set. I have this. For GitHub Copilot, here it is in, okay, I think I run this earlier. I'll just start a new session. You can see this on. What that means is that that file will be included in the context window of the LLM that you're going to choose to do the code review. Leave it on. This slash, you put a slash, you have a set of tags or things that you can run. This doesn't appear very well. So just say code review. Let me close this. I'm going to just type. I just add the first name of the prompt. Code review dash prompt. You could have multiple prompt files. When you want to execute it, just type the name before the prompt, just like this one here. Now, these are the mode. We're interested in the agent mode because we have said the code review will be done with the agent mode. And these are the LLMs that I have access to. There are three key ones, GPT, Gemini, and Cloudy that I usually use. GPT-5 is one of the most recent one. I will just choose that one. One that is also very capable for code review is Gemini 2.5 Pro. Cloudy 4, Cloudy 3.7, they are also all very capable, also very, very good. But I'm going to use GPT-5. And let's go. I will begin to run. It is working. It is reading the change sets, which is all the changes in the ML that I have extracted into a change set .d. Good question. Yeah, it's doing it because it has access to the code base. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Come again. Yes. It has access to the code base, which is everything there. No, you don't have to explicitly add it here. Yeah. All right. So let's go through the things that it does. It did. I mean, that's a summary of changes. Say added new multimodal pattern, introducing Kafka-based pub sub demonstration plus REST endpoint, add basic JUnit 5 test for application startup and simple repository service behavior. So that's a list, that's a summarized list of all the changes that is in there. Most of the time, I'll just stop here and then go and look at the Jira. Have you done all the work that is needed or not? Sometimes I just stop here, and sometimes, yes, if it makes sense to me, I will continue. In a start, code quality, readability, and maintainability. Assembly plugin misconfigured main class values are hyphenated package name from this, blah, blah, blah. Kafka producer both declares field as final and annotate with @AutoWire is redundant. Pooling scheduler create new random each run should reuse thread local random. If you read through, tests do not cover controller, scheduler, Kafka flow, or error scenario. Data source service test get all data relies on internal map mutability brittle. It gives you a lot of things that your eye might not be able to pick immediately. Some will be security concern, some will be, in this section, it is code quality, readability, and maintainability. Next one is testing and validation. Only simple JUnit tests present. Team policy requires SPOC. Okay. View. Let me just increase it a little bit more. Okay. Yeah. So if you go down, testing and validation, no test ensuring executor in data service, no test asserting configuration properties, use of best practices. It will list some of the things that are good about it. Performance and efficiency, it will list the things that are problematic with it. Security and privacy, based on what you have asked it to do, it will list all the problems that are there. Then, mind you, at the end of my instruction file, I have suggestion for improvement. Will then list all the things that it suggested. Fix assembly plugin value, add Spock test. Because in my instruction file, I said our team prefers Spock test over JUnit. In this ML, there's no Spock test there. It's now saying add Spock test. So you can then pick just one specific problem that is here, or the thing that really concerns you. This one is a slightly big amount, about 22 files or more than. If there are one that is small, I don't expect in some instances your changes might not produce as many problems as this. You can pick the one that you want, and then within the IDE itself, if you are using GitHub, for example, and you have a GitHub plugin on your IntelliJ IDE, you can go to the change where the problem is. This one is here. So let's assume the problem, I think there's a problem on the polling controller. Assuming, I think it says something about auto wire. It's final and auto wire, and you want to comment on it. Just come and comment about it within your IGA. You don't need to go into the code repo, into the repo to do the comment. So in principle or in summary, I didn't instruct you to do that. It can. I didn't instruct you to do that because I want to be able to do it. I want to be able to do it myself. Yeah, I want to be able to do that myself. All right. So you have all your set of all the problems that you have identified. So let's go back to our presentation. Okay, so in conclusion, AI makes code review faster, smarter, and less fatiguing. Most importantly, the benefit that me I have seen in my day-to-day work is hidden edge cases that people's eye cannot easily see. This tool has been able to pick a lot of those out, and in some instances, I even prevent problem going into production system. However, human oversight still remains very, very essential. The core thing is that best code review comes from AI plus human collaboration. If you do code review on yourself, yes, you could be good, but if you use AI to help you to do code review, you will do it better, you will do it smarter, and you will do it faster, and your team will do it more consistently. Now it's your turn. What question do you have?
So in order for all of this to work, do you need Copilot to actually have your entire project in its context, or just relevant parts, or which parts of the project does it need to have in the project? In the context, sorry.
In the context window. Interestingly, once you have the plugin, set up Copilot has access to your entire code base, unless you excluded some file specifically. But what there's an LLM. What the LLM will normally do, it will send as much of your code base. You actually send your code base onto its context window. There's Copilot. There's Copilot where you able to actually plan your entire code base into its context. Or is it just doing a search? It doesn't, it's legal, and it's not allowed. From what I know, I think a lot of your code base will be in its context window. Sometimes, sometimes the index could even be local, not necessarily over to the internet to the LLM. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I can't know how this works. So the way that Copilot really does it is doing an iterative search. It will change text, it will find the file, it will look for context out of that, it will build its own context. So it's a limited context. We've got a huge code base, a huge mono repo, so we have problems with Copilot because of that, because it can't pick up all the context and it starts actually branching, in which you need to follow kind of vectorizing strategies, which is a whole talk of its own, which I'm happy to kind of discuss with people. But Copilot takes a lot of your code base, and it has access to it all, but the context window is only a limited subset of it. It can't take the whole thing. Agentic, yeah. Not anybody. It doesn't do the advanced ways of fitting into the code base.
But then what is so when I select specific files, allow it by form. So is that even actually more powerful than
Yeah, you can see at the top of the reading dataset.zip, it has full access to code base. It can choose what it is.
So those files that I meant that I added specifically, why
because they're the context to start.
Now go into its window context.
Best if you actually give it the file as well if you want it to look at it.
Hi. Thanks for the talk. I might have missed it as part of the workspace context that you were setting out, but is that where you put in the requirement for the change? So obviously this change, the diff, is to perform a bug fix or some new functionality. Does that come from a bug, a report, or a change? Is that fed in as well, so that it can do the review to justify that the change is meeting the requirement? And I was going to ask us, had you played with it at all and made some changes to the review where like there would be a subtle part of the requirement that was missing? Did it actually pick that up as part of that?
I think Copilot doesn't know what your exact requirements are, but it knows. Okay, if you put the requirement there, yes, you can compare the requirement against the changes in the code base to confirm if your requirement is met. Yes, if the requirements are there.
It sounds like it is essential. If you don't input anything, it would have some
It has knowledge of the changes that it found in your MR.
What was required and what has been probably could start and then maybe the person being to got it all wrong.
If you are going to give it the requirement, it means that you're actually doing the work. The workflow that we demonstrated here is the workflow for reviewing a change that has been completed. Yeah, yeah. Have you made the requirement? Yeah. 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 That is an addition to what I've demonstrated here. I haven't used it in that way that it changes here. I'll go and get the requirement and ask, does it meet this requirement? That's an additional one.
So you mentioned that you need to have a license for the GitHub Copilot for this to work, right? So if I have the IntelliJ Ultimate Edition license, I've got the JetBrains AI assistant already built in the IntelliJ, right? And also I've got the ChatGPT Enterprise license, but under the hood it's using, I guess, ChatGPT. Would I be able to do like is there like some plugin for which if I don't have the GitHub Copilot subscription, which is probably I guess Microsoft, but if I have all other access and licenses, is there a plugin that is available? Maybe that's maybe not relevant to what you used.
I know that has one, especially chat
Yeah.
I know why
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. Yes. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Codex. It's called Codex CLI.
Hiya, thanks for the speech. Sometimes on the actual repo, I get Topilot just to review the codes in the top right-hand corner, and it gives a summary and adds some comments to the actual PR. If I add your prompts, your code review prompts to the workspace and the global ones you showed, will Copilot in GitHub use them as well to follow them standards? On the actual website, yeah, actually on the repo. Will it know to go and look into GitHub prompts? It doesn't. You can configure it. Okay, so it is there. Okay. No. Yeah. It's a similar one for this is Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? No? Okay.
I want to add that this is probably one of the most useful presentations.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, I think that's it. Thank you for Sunday and Diana. And thank you everyone for coming.
We're going to the pub, so local pub. If you know good pubs, Weather are the best because they are cheap.